class. We're listening to Srila Prabhupada in his lectures. And tonight we're going to hear Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 14th verse. Matra sparsastu konteya sitosna sukasudukadaha agama payano nityas tamstatikshasva bharata. You can start. And we'll have the copies in a second of the transcript. Okay, while we're waiting, I'll read the verse. Matra sparsasta konteya sitosna sukadukataha agama payano nityas tamstatikshasva bharata. O son of Kunti.
In the previous verse,
okay, there it goes.
It has been described that Dehinasmin tathadehi kaumana jugunandana. We are transmigrating from one body to another, exactly like we are passing from a child body to a boy's body, or boy's body to a youth body. Similarly, we are passing through this body also and accepting another body. Now, the question of distress and happiness. Distress and happiness according to the body. A very rich man is situated little comfortably. The common distress and unhappiness, happiness, that is common. What is that common? Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosham. To take birth either as a dog or as a king, the distress is the same. There is no difference. Because the dog has to keep itself within the womb of the mother in an airtight condition for so many months. The man, either he is king or anything, he has also undergone that tribulation. There is no excuse. Because you are taking birth in a king's family, it does not mean that to remain compact within the mother's womb, the distress is less, and because he is taking birth in a dog's mother's womb, therefore his is great. No, that is the same. Similarly, at the time of death, the distress, at the time of there is great distress. It is so strong that one has to leave this body. Just like when the distress becomes very strong, one commits suicide. He cannot tolerate. Finish this body. So nobody wants to leave this body. But the distance is so strong that one is forced to leave this body. That is called death. In the Bhagavad Gita you will find that Mrityu sarva harascha aham. Krishna says that I am death. And what is meaning of death? Death means I take everything from him. Finished. I take his body, I take his association, I take his country, I take his society, I take his bank balance and everything finished. Sarva haram. Sarva means everything. Everyone is trying to accumulate big bank balance and big house, big family, big motor car, but with the death everything is finished. So that is great distress. Sometimes one cries. You find at the time of death in coma, his eye drops are coming out. He's thinking, I made so many things so nicely to live comfortably, and now I am losing everything. Great distress. I know one friend in Allahabad. He was very rich man. So he was only 54 years old. So he was requesting, crying, doctor, can you not give me at least 4 years to live? I had a plan, I wanted to finish it. What the doctor can do? That is not possible, sir. You must get out. But these foolish people, they do not know. But we have to tolerate. We have to tolerate. That is advised here. That because you have got this material body, you have to tolerate. To live within the within the womb of the mother, then come out, then I cannot speak. Suppose I am a little baby and some worm is biting me, I cannot say, mother, because at time I cannot speak and something is biting on my back. I am crying. A mother is thinking that the child is hungry, giving milk. Just see how much is. I want something and I am giving something else. This is fair. Why the child is crying? And he is feeling uncomfortable. Then in this way, I grow. Then I do not want to go to school. I am forced to go to school. Yes. At least I was like that. I never wanted to go to school. And my father was very kind. So, you know, like, why you are not going to school? I say, I will go tomorrow. All right. Then my mother was very careful. Perhaps if my mother would not have been little strict, I would not have gotten any education. My father was very lenient. So she used to force me, one man would take me to school. Actually, children do not want to go to school, they want to play. Against the will of the children, he has to go to school. Then there is examination. Not only going to school, so you study the life from the beginning of this body, within the womb of the mother. It is simply troublesome. Against my will. So many distresses are there. So many distresses there. Then as we grow, the distress grow. Distress is not diminished. Then janma, then old age, then disease. So long you have got this body, the so-called scientists, they are manufacturing very effective medicine, new discovery. What is called? Streptomycin. So many things. But they cannot stop disease. That is not possible, sir. You can manufacture so many high-class medicine to cure disease. That is not cure, temporary relief. But no scientist had discovered any medicine that you take this medicine and no more disease. That is not possible. You take this medicine, no more death. That is not possible. Therefore, those who are intelligent, they know it very well that this place is dukkhalam asasatam. That is described in the Bhagavad Gita, it is a place for distress. So long you remain here, but we are so full, we cannot realize, we accept this life is very pleasant, let me enjoy it. It is not pleasant at all. Seasonal changes, always. This distress or that distress, this disease or that disease, this uncomfortable, this anxiety. There are three kinds of distresses. Adhyatmic, adhibhautik, adhidvaivik. Adhyatmic means distresses pertaining to this body and the mind. And adhidvaivik means distresses offered by material nature. All of a sudden there is earthquake, all of a sudden there is famine, there is scarcity of food, there is over rain, no rain, extreme heat, extreme winter, extreme cold. We have to go under these distresses, threefold. At least 1, 2 must be there. Still, we do not realize that this place is full of distress because I have got this material body. Therefore, a sane man's duty is how to stop the process of accepting this material body. This is intelligence. He should realize that I am always in distresses. And I am not this body, but I am put into this body. Therefore, right conclusion is that I am not this body. If somehow or other I can live without this body, then my distresses are over. This is common. That is possible. Therefore Krishna comes. Therefore God comes to give you the information that you are not this body. You are the soul, spirit soul. And because you are within this body, you are suffering so many distresses. Therefore Krishna advises that these distresses are due to this body. Try to understand why you are feeling pains and pleasure. It is due to the body. Therefore Buddha philosophy is also the same thing, that you finish this body. Nirvana. Nirvana means their philosophy is that your feelings of pain and pleasure, it is due to this body. They also accept. Now what is this body? This body is combination of matter. Combination of earth, water, air, fire, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, 8 material elements, 5 gross and 3 subtle. This body is made of that. So the Buddha philosophy is that you dismantle this body, nirvana. Just like this house is made of stone, brick, and wood and so on. So you break it, there is no more stone and no more brick. This is distributed to the earth, throw it on the earth, then there is no house. Similarly, if you become zero, no body, then you are free from pains and pleasure. This is their philosophy, Nibbana philosophy, Sunnavadi, make it zero. But that is not possible. That is not possible. You cannot zero. You are, because you are spirit soul, that will be explained. You are eternal. You cannot be zero. That will be explained. Na annate annamane sarire. That we are giving up this body. But immediately I have to accept another body. Immediately. Then where is your question of dismantling? By nature's way, you will get another body because you want to enjoy. You have come here in this material world there is no question of asking. Everyone knows that I am in this material world. I must enjoy to the fullest extent. One who is unaware of the fact that I am going to take another life, he is thinking this is a combination of this matter, earth, water, air, fire. So when it will be broken, then everything will be finished. So long I have got this opportunity, let me enjoy to the fullest extent. This is called material mentality. Atheist who does not know that we are eternal soul, we are changing body only. The atheist think that after finishing here in the Western country, big professor, they are also under the same impression that when the body is finished, everything is finished. No, that is not. Therefore, that is the beginning of instruction. Dehinasmin jathadehi kaumara jauvana. You are changing different bodies. You will, by finishing the body, you are not finished. You are not finished. We can understand with little thinking that in this body I am, even in this life. At night I get another body. I dream. I dream there is a tiger. I go to the forest and there is a tiger and it is coming to kill me. Then I am crying. And actually I am crying. Or in other ways, I have gone to some beloved man or woman, we are embracing, but the bodily action is going on. Otherwise, why I am crying? And why there is discharge of semina? So, people do not know that I am living this gross body, but I am entering into a subtle body. Subtle body is there, not question of insight. We are packed up. Just like this body is packed up with heart and coat. So the coat is the gross body and the heart is the subtle body. So when this gross body is resting, the subtle body is working. The subtle body is there. There is a foolish man, they cannot understand that I am compact in some body, either subtle body or gross body. One who is too sinful, very much sinful, he does not get the gross body, he remains in the subtle body, and that is called ghost. You have heard, some of you might have seen, that is ghost. Ghost means he doesn't get, he is so sinful that he is condemned to remain in the subtle body. He does not get the gross body. Therefore, according to Vedic system, there is Sraddha ceremony. If the father or relative has not gotten the gross body, by that ceremony he is allowed to accept a gross body. That is the Vedic system. So anyway, we can understand that I am sometimes in this gross body and I am sometimes in the subtle body. So I am there, either in the gross body or on the subtle body. So I am eternal. But when I work with the subtle body, I forget this gross body. And when I work with this gross body, I forget the subtle body. So either I accept the gross body or subtle body, I am eternal. I am eternal. Now the problem is how to avoid this gross body and subtle body. That is the problem. That means when you remain in your original body, means spiritual body, and do not come to this gross or subtle body, that is your eternal life. That is we have to achieve. This human life is a gift by the nature or by God. Now you realize that you are changing your different condition, distress and happiness, being a force to accept some kind of gross and subtle body, that is the cause of your pains and pleasure. And if you get out of this gross and subtle body, remain in your original spiritual body, then you are free from these pains and pleasure. That is called mukti. Mukti, there is a Sanskrit word. Mukti means liberation. No more gross body, no more subtle body. But remain in your own original spiritual body. This is called mukti. Mukti means, it is described in the Bhagavatam, mukti hitva annatha rupam sarupena avasthiti. That is called mukti. Annatha rupam. Annatha rupam means in otherwise, staying or living in otherwise. Otherwise means that I am spirit, soul. I have got spiritual body. But somehow or other, circumstantially, on account of my desire, I get sometimes human body, sometimes dog's body, sometimes cat's body, sometimes tree's body, sometimes demigod's body. There are different 8,400,000 different forms of body. So I am changing according to my desire and according to my infection. Karanam gunasangasya. According to my, these are the subtle things. That is the real knowledge of human being. Not to invent something for temporary happiness. That is foolishness. That is foolishness. Wasting time. If we invent something for the comforts of this present body, I shall live very comfortably, but you will not be allowed, sir, to live comfortably. First of all, you know that. Suppose a man is constructing very nice house, very strong house, it will never fall down in any circumstances. That's all right, but what you have done for yourself, that you will never die, so that you will enjoy this. No, let it be. Let me have a very strong built house. So house remains, he goes there. Strong built nation. Just like Napoleon constructed strong built arches. But where he has gone, nobody knows. So, therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Jaravidya sab mayar bhuibhav, tomar bhajane badha. The more you advance in so-called material happiness, or material advancement, the more we forget our real identity. This is the result. So, we should understand that we have got a separate business, real business, that is called self-realization. That I am not this body, this is self-realization. That is being instructed by Krishna in the beginning. You are not this body. The first understanding, first knowledge is to understand that I am not this body, I am spirit soul. I have got a different business. It is not that these temporary actions or activities, like as a dog or as a human being or as a tiger or as a tree or as a fish, there are activities. Ahara nidra bhayavainthunancha. The same principle of bodily necessities, eating, sleeping, sex life and defense. But in the human form of life, I have got a separate business, self-realization, to get out of this bodily entanglement, and that is called knowledge. Without this knowledge, anything we are advancing in knowledge, that is foolishness, that's all. Samayeva hi kevalam. Samayeva hi kevalam. Samayeva hi kevalam means simply working uselessly and wasting time. You cannot check the nature's law. Suppose in this life you are very big leader, prime minister and everything, that's all right. But according to your mentality, you are creating next life. So in this life you remain a prime minister and next life you become a dog. Then what is the benefit? Therefore these atheist fools, they want to deny next life. That is very horrible for them. That is very horrible thing. If they accept next life, they know that life is very sinful. Then what life they are going to get by the laws of nature? When they think of it, they shudder. Better deny it. Better deny it. Just like a rabbit, enemy is in his front and he is going to die. But he thinks, let me close my eyes, I am out of it. This is atheistic view. They are trying to forget that there is no life. Therefore they deny there is no life. Why not? Krishna says that you had a childhood body, you had a baby. You don't know. Where is that body? You have left that. You are in different body. Similarly, this body will change. You will get another body. And who says? Krishna says, the most superior authority. He says, I may not understand, but when he says, this is the process of our knowledge. We accept knowledge from the perfect person. I may be fool, but the knowledge received from the perfect person is perfect knowledge. This is our process. We don't try to speculate that may or may not be successful. But if you accept knowledge from the perfect authority, that knowledge is perfect. Just like we are speculating, who is my father? You can speculate, who is your father? But that speculation will not help you. You will never understand who is your father. But you go to your mother, the supreme authority, she will immediately, here is your father. That's all. And you cannot know father in any other way. There is no other way. This is practical. You cannot know your father without the authoritative statement of your mother. Similarly, things which are beyond your perception, avanga manasa gocha, you cannot think of, you cannot speak of. Sometimes they say God cannot be spoken, God cannot be thought of. That is all right. But if God himself comes before you and says, here I am, then where is the difficulty? Where is the difficulty? I am imperfect, I cannot know. That's all right. But if God himself comes before him. So, this Krishna consciousness movement is to know everything perfectly from the supreme authority, Krishna. This is the process. Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet. In order to understand subject matter which is beyond our perception, you have to approach such authority who can inform you. Exactly in the same way, to understand who is my father is beyond my perception, beyond my speculation. But if I accept the authoritative statement of my mother, this is perfect knowledge. So there are three kinds of processes to understand or to advance in knowledge. One is direct perception, pratyaksha, and the other is authority, and the other is shruti. Shruti by hearing from the Supreme. So our process is shruti. Shruti means we hear from the highest authority. That is our process. And that is very easy. highest authority, if he is not in default, and ordinary persons, they are in default. They have got imperfection. The first imperfection is the ordinary man, they commit mistake. Any great man of the world you have seen, they commit mistake. And they are illusion. They accept something as reality, which is not reality. Just like we accept this body as reality. This is called illusion, but this is not reality. I am soul, that is reality. So this is called illusion. And then with this illusory knowledge, imperfect knowledge, we become teacher. And that is another cheating. If you have not, they say, all these scientists and philosophers, perhaps it may be, what is your knowledge? It may be, and perhaps, why you are taking the post of a teacher? In future, we shall understand, what is this future? We do accept a post-dated check. In future, I shall discover, and therefore I am scientist. What is the scientist? And above all, our imperfectness of senses. Just like we are seeing one another, because there is light. If there is no light, then what is the power of my seeing? But these rascals do not understand that they are always defective, and still they are writing books of knowledge. What is the knowledge? We must take knowledge from the perfect person. Therefore, we are taking knowledge from Krishna, the supreme person, the perfect person. And he is advising that if you want to stop your pains and pleasure, then you must make some arrangement not to accept this material body. That is advising Krishna. How to avoid this material body. That has been explained. This is the second chapter. In the fourth chapter, Krishna has said that Janma karma me dibbam jujanati tattata takta dehang punarjanma naiti mamiti. You simply try to understand the activities of Krishna. These activities of Krishna is there in the history, in the Mahabharata. Mahabharata means greater India or greater Bharat. Mahabharata, the history. In that history, this Bhagavad Gita is also there. So he is speaking about himself. He tried to understand Krishna. This is our Krishna consciousness movement. Simply try to understand Krishna, his activities. It's not impersonal. Janma karma me dibbam. Karma means activities. He has activities. Why he is taking part in this world, activities. Why he comes. Jada jada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. Abhuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamaham. He has got some purpose, he has got some mission. So try to understand Krishna and his mission and his activities that is described in a historical form. So what is the difficulty? We read so many things, history or the activities of some leader, some politician. The same thing, same energy you apply for understanding Krishna. What is the difficulty? Krishna therefore, he manifests himself with so many activities because you can understand Krishna's activities. And if you can understand Krishna's activities, then this is the last body. As soon as you give it up, you go to Krishna. Why not accept the simple method? Krishna's activities we are writing in 80 books. If you read one book, that is also sufficient. Just like this book, Bhagavad Gita. If you read carefully, everything is explained there. What is Krishna, what is Krishna's activities. So you are reading so many books. Just try to understand one book, Bhagavad Gita, and you become liberated. a so simple method. But this Krishna consciousness movement is very serious movement for the welfare of the human society. Just like you are hearing about Krishna, Krishna's instruction, the Bhagavad Gita, if you simply hear, everything will be revealed. Everything will be revealed automatically. Sevan mukhe hi jivbhado sameva spuratada. You cannot realize God by your own effort. That is not possible. But atasya Krishna namadi nabhavet grayam indriya, this imperfect, rubbish senses, if you want to know, because it is full of cheating, full of mistake, full of illusion, imperfectness, then how you can understand the thing or the person who is beyond your perception? That is not possible. Achinta khaluti bhava natas tarkena jujaya. This is Vedic instruction. The things which are beyond our perception, don't try to understand by this foolish argument and logic. Don't try to understand. Achinta khaluti bhava. Achinta means beyond your conception. Chinta means within your perception. Achinta means beyond your conception. Achinta khaluji bhava natas tarkena. You cannot understand by this rascal logic and philosophy. That is not possible. Then how it is to be understood? There are many places. Atasya Krishna namadi navavid grayam indriya. These blunt senses, you cannot understand Krishna, Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's activities. You cannot understand. Then I have got this is my imposition. How can I understand Krishna? That is said. The sevanmukhi hi jivhado, when you engage your tongue in the service of the Lord. Now this is also another peculiar thing. The to understand by the tongue, not by the mind. Tongue. Tongue means we have got two businesses we perform with the tongue. One is tasting foodstuff and vibrating voice. So you use the tongue, vibrating Hare Krishna Mahamantra and eat Krishna Prasadam. But then you understand Krishna. You don't understand, but he reveals. And actually that is happening. All over the world, these young boys and girls, because they are chanting Hare Krishna mantra and because they are eating Krishna Prasadam, now they are developing their Krishna consciousness. They are not Vedantists. They are not studies all the Vedas, or how they are understanding. If they are not understanding Krishna, how they are sticking to this life. In this life, everything is forbidden. No illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, everything no. Material life finished. Why they are sticking? Unless they are understanding Krishna. This is the proof. The more you stick to this principle, sevanmukhi jivhado, engage your tongue in true business, chanting Hare Krishna and eat Krishna Prasad, your life will be perfect. Thank you very much. Any question?
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that not all the senses are in the mind.
You first of all question on the topics we have finished. Of course, this is also parting. What is your question? Go on.
Well, you explained that there are three kinds of misery.
Three kinds of misery, yes.
Adi-atmic, adi-bholik, and adi-devi. So adi-atmic is a misery also of the mind.
Yes.
How can I understand?
Well, and mind is sometimes not in order. That is adhyatmik. Suppose somebody comes to me and asks some question, I am not thinking very well. Later on I shall say, that means mind is not in order. You are hearing Bhagavad Gita, but your mind is somewhere else. So this is mind disease. Rejecting and accepting. There is mind's disease, there is bodily disease. That is called adhyatmik.
Krishna says, according to your, as you said, learn to tolerate. Learn to endure or tolerate.
Tolerate.
Yes, please. And how can one be better equipped to tolerate these despairs and miseries of our human existence?
The more he understands that he is not body, the more he understands that I am not this body, then he can tolerate. Yes. And if we become disturbed by the pains and pleasure of the body, then we shall forget our real business. Our real business is to get out. I am not this body, but this human body is a chance how to get out of this body. That is my real business. So if we are disturbed by this bodily pains and pleasure very much, then I forget my real business. Therefore Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has advised, Tarorapi sahisnuna. Tinadupi sunichena tarorapi sahisnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Tinadupi sunichena. That's like grass. Everyone is trampling over the grass. The grass does not protest. Therefore, humbler than the grass. And tolerant than the tree. In this way, we shall have to keep our position in this material world and advance in spiritual consciousness. If we become disturbed, then we cannot make progress. Suppose we are prohibiting so many things, especially in the Western world. This is very painful. But you have to tolerate. If you want to get out of this body, you have to tolerate. Actually, it is not painful. If you are in Krishna consciousness, then it is not difficult. It is very easy. It is not very... So, any other question?
How does one develop his desire then to get out of this body?
No desire. No material desire. Simply think of how to push on this movement. That desire, and no other desire. Annavilasita sunnam. No material desire. Sunnam. Make zero all material desire. Simply desire, how shall I push on? How shall I serve Krishna? How shall I record it? Therefore you have given so many engagements to divert the desire. Desire cannot be stopped. That is not possible. Those foolish persons become desireless. That is not possible. Desireless means I am dead. No. Purify desire. Purify desire. You have got the desire for driving a motor car. Just drive motor car for preaching Krishna consciousness. You see? This is the change the quality of the desire. Desire cannot be stopped. That is not possible. I want to eat very nice food stuff, all right. Eat food, remnants of food stuff. We offer Krishna the best food. That is the regulative principle. Krishna should be offered the best food stuff. And you take the remnants. Krishna is not so hungry that he is taking, but he is leaving also. That is Krishna's eating. Krishna says that patram puspam phalam tuyam jumi bhaktya prajachati tadahang asnami. Anyone who is offering me this food stuff made of patram puspam, vegetable and food grains and milk and this, he never says give me meat or egg. No, he never says. He says patram puspam phalam tuyam. These food stuff we can prepare nicely in so many ways. And Krishna says, if somebody offers me with faith and love, I eat it. Now the question is, you see that whatever I offered, these things are there, how Krishna has eaten. Therefore his eating process is different. But he has eaten. That you have to learn from the Shastra. That Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. He is not hungry. Still he can eat the whole world. But still the world remains as it is. That will require some brain to understand. Krishna eats. Krishna eats and again keeps the whole thing as it is for your eating. So you are not loser. If you offer to Krishna, Krishna will eat and he'll again get you the food stuff for eating. That is his fullness. That is his fullness. So therefore, you prepare very, very nice food stuff and offer to Krishna and take it, then your desire for eating nice food stuff will be automatically fulfilled. And at the same time, you become devotee Krishna. Why don't you do this? Anyone can do, either in this temple or at home. But they will not worship Krishna. They will worship a dog. Instead of God, keeping a dog and taking all care. This is the mentality. Then next life he becomes a dog. Because he has got good faith and love for dog, therefore he becomes dog. And if you have got good faith and love for Krishna, you become a body like Krishna. Unless you have got the same type of body, how you can play with Krishna, dance with Krishna? Therefore, when Krishna says, Takta dihang punarjanmanaiti mamit, if you become a perfect devotee of Krishna, then after giving up this body, you get a body like Krishna. Satchidananda Vigraha. And live eternally blissful life of knowledge. That should be the aim of life. All right, chant Hare Krishna.
Very strong. You're hearing Prabhupada. That's what's called yeah, but it's also simultaneously one and different. Simultaneously one and different. So, this is Prabhupada's separated energy. Right? He spoke this a long time ago, but it's still going on. He might not be here, but it's still going on. That's why it says a Vaishnava never dies, but he lives in his words. Yeah. Okay, so this verse, Matras Parsasta Konteya, 2nd chapter, 14th verse. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O Skyan of Bharata, Arjuna, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So Prabhupada says in the purport, in the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearances and disappearances of happiness and distress. So That was the main theme in this lecture today. That he said right on the first page, in the last paragraph, he says, but we have to tolerate. We have to tolerate. That is advised here, that because you have got this material body, you have to tolerate. To live within the womb of the mother, then come out, then I cannot speak. Suppose I'm a little baby and some worm is biting me. I cannot say mother, because at that time I cannot speak yet. Something is biting on my back. I am crying, and mother is thinking that, oh, the child is hungry. Give him milk. Just see how much I want something, and I'm given something else. That is a fact. Why the child is crying. He is feeling uncomfortable. Then in this way I grow. Then I do not want to go to school. So in other words, he's saying, so many things are troublesome in life, you know, right from being in the womb of the mother and being pushed out, being forced to go to school, all these things. So we can't stop this birth, death, old age, and disease. We cannot really diminish the distress in life. Therefore, those who are intelligent, they know that this world is a place of dukhalayam, a place of suffering. And it's a place of distress. So we foolishly think, oh, this life is very pleasant, let me enjoy it. But it is not pleasant at all. There's always distress. There's disease, old age. There's miseries of this body, miseries of other bodies, caused by other bodies, miseries by natural cataclysmic events, and everything is causing distress. Therefore, Prabhupada says, a sane man's duty is to stop this process of birth and death. Stop this process. Otherwise, it'll just keep going on. He said, that is real intelligence. When you realize, I'm always in distress, and this body is an artificial imposition on me. I'm put into this body by force due to my fallacious or false identification of myself as belonging to nature or material nature. He says, therefore God comes to give you the right information, that you are not this body, you are a spirit soul. And because you are within this body, you are suffering so many distresses. The distress is due to the material body, which is foreign to us. These distresses are due to this body. Try to understand. Why are you feeling pains and pleasures? It is due to the body. The body is simply a combination of matter. But the body seems to be alive because of the presence of the eternal soul. So don't be fooled by impersonal philosophies like Buddhism and Mayavad philosophies. They're trying to make everything zero. Dismantle the body, dismantle your own individuality, and merge into some nothingness or merge into some light, and your distress will be over. But that's not possible. Because you're an eternal soul, you cannot zero, or you cannot become homogeneous and lose your identity. That's why it says, Nahanyate hanyamane sarire, Bhagavad Gita 2:20, the soul never dies. So how can you dismantle it? How can you make it zero? You'll always be forced to take another body, either subtle or gross. And it's because we want to enjoy. We come to the material world to enjoy. It's never a question of, oh, I'm in this material world, therefore I should enjoy to the fullest. This is what the foolish materialists are saying. They just enjoy life to the fullest. However, this material mentality of eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we shall die, that is the atheist mentality. It's a nonsense mentality. It's a false idea. So, Prabhupada's point is, that either we're living in a gross material body or a subtle material body. Both are artificial coverings of the eternal soul. And unless we try to understand who we are in relationship with Krishna, we go on either having a gross or subtle material body, and we suffer in both. And he spoke about a ghost. A ghost is someone who is forced to have a subtle body because they're so sinful. Therefore, they have gross material desires, but they don't have a gross body to satisfy them. They just have a subtle body. We're experiencing the gross body during the day and a subtle body when we're dreaming at night. Both are artificially covering our soul. And therefore Prabhupada says, I am sometimes in this gross body and I'm sometimes in a subtle body. But either in both subtle or gross body, I am eternal. When I work with the subtle body, I forget the gross body. And when I work in this gross body, I forget the subtle body. So you see, when you get into bed, you're ready to go to sleep, and your mind starts wandering into different thoughts. Now you see the subtle body is acting. And then when you wake up, you forget about those subtle body experiences, and now the gross body is functioning. See, I have to wake up, I have to take a shower, I have to go to work, I have to do this, I have to do that. Then at night, as we're going to sleep, you're thinking, oh, I saw this nice person, or oh, it'd be so nice if I go on vacation, or now the subtle body takes over. See? But in both cases, I'm an eternal soul. But the problem is how to avoid this gross and subtle body. That is the problem. When you go back and when you remain in your original body, your spiritual body, then you have eternal life. This is what we have to achieve. So Krishna says, Prabhupada says, that this human life is a gift by God given to us specifically for self-realization and to stop this constant changing of bodies, subtle and gross bodies, and both are causes of temporary happiness and distress. And because of that, we feel pains and pleasure. But if we go back, if we can obtain our original spiritual body, then we're free of all these pains and pleasures, and that's called mukti. And liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable, gross, and subtle material bodies. And that's called mukti. Okay, but this changing of bodies from one material body to another, it's due to desire. And desire evolves through the mind, because the mind is one of the senses, and it's perceiving the experience of all the other senses. And it is developing desires other than self-realization, desires for sense enjoyment, and so forth. So basically, we're trying to invent temporary happiness. A massage chair, a jacuzzi, a television, a new car, a new house, a boat, stocks, a new job, a new this, a new that. These are all temporary forms of happiness, but it's actually wasting our time. It's taking our attention away from solving the problem of gross and subtle bodies. Right? And one time we were on a walk with Srila Prabhupada in France, and we were in the place called the Place de la Concorde, and it's a big public square in downtown Paris, and we were at a place called the Musée de l'Homme, the Museum of Humanity. It's a grand building, and there's a lot of different exhibits inside of the history of mankind. And then when we walked out, it's on a high level, and they were looking down over this great square called Place de la Concorde. And then if you look to the right, you see the Champs-Élysées and the Arc de Triomphe. And you look to the left, you see Le Louvre, the big museum. And then behind us is the Musée de l'Homme, the Museum of Humanity. But then across from the Musée de l'Homme, on the other side of this big place called Place de la Concorde, also there's the obelisk. Obelisk is this giant steeple-like construction. It was stolen from Egypt. Jai Shri Radha Nilamadhava Ki Jai. Napoleon stole it from Egypt and brought it to Paris and put it. It's an Egyptian column, and it's a very beautiful thing. You can see how the French are just thieves. They stole it because Napoleon conquered Egypt at one time. So, on the other side is a building that Napoleon built. It's called Les Invalides. Les Invalides is a military hospital that he used. He built specifically for all the wounded to be brought back from conquering Europe and Russia, and it's a big building, and it's still there. The same building that was built in I think 1820. And Prabhupada said, "Who built that building?" And we told him, "Napoleon." He said, "The building is there, but where is Napoleon?" So here he's saying, Napoleon constructed strong-built arches, but where has he gone? Nobody knows. So therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Jadabidya Jato Mayara Vaibhava Tomara Bhajane Bhada. The more we advance in so-called material happiness or material advancement, the more we forget our real identity. This is the problem of materialistic education. We forget who we are, what our purpose is in life, and we get caught up in all these things, iPhones and I this and I that. This is the result. The more we advance materially, the more we forget who we are and what our relationship with Krishna is. So Prabhupada says we should understand what is our real business. That is called self-realization. I am not this body. This is self-realization. That is being instructed by Krishna. You are not this body. The first understanding, first knowledge, is to understand I am not this body. I am spirit soul. I have got a different business. My business is not iPhones and Teslas and Boeings and things like that. My business is self-realization. It is not that this temporary actions or activities, like as a dog or as a human being or as a tiger or as a tree or as a fish, these are different activities, but they are ahara nidra bhaya maitunam cha. It's from the Hitopadesh. That's basically eating, sleeping, sex life, and defense, like animals. But in human form, I have a different business, self-realization, to get out of this bodily entanglement, and that is called knowledge. Without this knowledge, anything we are advancing in knowledge is foolishness. That's all. Shrama eva hi kevalam, Bhagavatam 1-8, which says, Dharma svanustitak pumsa vishvaksena katasuyat, not padayat yati ratim, Shrama eva hi kevalam. So whatever occupational duties a man may perform according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. So we can just accumulate thousands of zeros in our life, and the end result is zero. Unless all that accumulation leads to Krishna consciousness, all that activity, all those efforts is all zero. It means simply working uselessly and wasting time. Why? Because you cannot check nature's law, or birth, death, old age, and disease. So we create our next life by the mentality we develop in this life. So if our mentality is in the stock market and in making money and in using money for sense gratification, then we're creating a very dark future in the next life. And we try and avoid these, thinking about, the eventual end point of life. What's that called? Ontology, the end game of life. The end game of life is, we don't want to think about it. So we're like the rabbit. When a rabbit is in danger, it just closes his eyes, hoping it'll go away. Or when the ostrich is in danger, it sticks his head in a hole, and hoping that, the tiger won't eat him. Of course, the tiger comes and eats him. So this is the atheistic view. They are trying to forget. They are denying. They say there's no life after death. When you die, that's it. So therefore, we should just use this life to enjoy it to the fullest. Right. Okay, so there's so many points that Prabhupada made here today, again. But he makes this point. He in the first lecture we gave, he made it, and now he's making it over and over again, that we must get knowledge from a perfect person. And who's the most perfect person? Krishna. And you don't have to read many books. You just have to read one book, Bhagavad Gita. Everything is in this one book. Right? If you want to read more books, you can read Bhagavatam. But if you just know one book properly, then you'll have all knowledge. And that one book is Bhagavad Gita. In fact, when I was a young boy, maybe I was like 8 or 10, my great auntie was always taking care of me, and she would teach me prayers and take me to church and all these things. And one day she told me, there is a book, a very ancient book. She said, when I was a young girl, my grandmother told me about this book. And the name of the book, the English translation would be 6,000 Years of Wisdom. And she said, if you ever find this book, read it. She didn't tell me where to find it. She didn't know where it was either, but she just heard about it. So later on in life, when I first encountered the Bhagavad Gita and I read it, and then I heard about Prabhupada, I realized this is the book that she was talking about. This is the book that she was talking about, because this has the wisdom of eternity, how to attain eternal life and the perfection of life. So Shruti means you're hearing from the highest authority. But our disease today is we accept something to be real that is not real. We accept something to be the truth that is not the truth. And that's called illusory knowledge or imperfect knowledge. And then with that imperfect knowledge, we become a teacher and we teach other people false things. This is what's going on. Factually, this is exactly what is going on. So we take knowledge from the Supreme Person, from Krishna, right? And therefore it says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yot veti tatvata tyakva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti sarjanam. That anyone who knows the transcendental nature of Krishna's appearance and activities does not, upon approaching death, take birth again, but goes back to Godhead. That's how powerful this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking about himself. Who else knows Krishna better than himself? So Prabhupada said, you try and understand. Our Krishna consciousness movement, we're simply trying to understand Krishna, his activities. He is not impersonal. He's janma, karma, chame, divyam. He has activities, and they're transcendental. And why is he taking part in this world? And why is he acting here? Why does he come? Yada yada hi dharma sid glanir bhavati bharata Abhyutanam adharma setadatmanam srijamyaham. He's got a purpose. He's got a mission. So try and understand Krishna and his mission and his activities. They are described in a historical form. So where's the difficulty? We read so many things, history or activities of some leader, some politician. The same thing, same energy, you apply for your understanding Krishna. Where is the difficulty? Krishna, therefore, he manifests himself with so many activities because you can understand Krishna's activities. And if you can understand Krishna's activities, then this is the last body. As soon as you give it up, you go to Krishna. Why not accept this simple method? Krishna's activities we are writing in 80 books. If you read one book, that is also sufficient. Just like this book, Bhagavad Gita. If you read carefully, everything is explained there. What is Krishna? What is Krishna's activities? So you are reading so many books, just try to understand one book, Bhagavad Gita, and you become liberated. Such a simple method. Okay, so then he says, if you simply hear, everything will be revealed. Everything will be revealed automatically. Sevan mukhehi jivado swayam eva spurat yada. You cannot realize God by your own effort. That is not possible. Atakshi krishnanama adina bhavid grayam indriyai. Sevan mukhehi jivado swayam eva spurat yada. In other words, in this world is full of illusion and imperfectness. And how can you understand something that's beyond our perception, beyond our senses? That's not possible. Achintikalu ye bhava natam starkena yojayat. In Skanda Purana it says, things which are beyond our perception, don't try to understand by speculation or argument and logic. Don't try to understand. However, Atakshi Krishna Abadi Nabavet Gayam India, Sevon Mukhe Jivado, Sevon Mukha Jivado, Swayam Neva Spuratyada. You can't understand transcendental truths with the blunt senses, but you can understand with the tongue. He didn't say with the mind, he said with the tongue. Right? Sevon Mukhehi Jivado. Jivado means the tongue. That's Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 17:136. You engage the tongue in two ways. It vibrates and it tastes. So if you take prasadam and you chant Hare Krishna, you will understand what is not understood by the senses and speculation. But you will understand. Why? Because it's going to be revealed. This is revelation theology. The more we surrender to Krishna through chanting and feasting, right, the more Krishna reveals to us. Okay, so he says, the more you stick to this principle, Sevan Mukhe Jivado, engage your tongue in two businesses, chanting Hare Krishna and eating Krishna Prasadam, your life will be perfect. What could be easier than that? Right? Why would anyone refuse to do that? And then there are a couple of questions here. So how can one tolerate all the miseries of life and anxiety? Prabhupada says, the more you understand that I am not this body, the more you'll be able to tolerate. The more we are attached to the body, the less we can tolerate. The more we understand I'm not this body, the more we can tolerate. Because whatever pain or anxiety, it's a false thing. Because the mind is the seat of the false ego. And the mind is experiencing all these things. The pain, the pleasures, the happiness and the distress. But actually, it's false because of false identification with the body through the false ego. So the only way is is to use the body for self-realization. That's the real business that we have in this world. And how to do that? The more we're humble, the more we're able to tolerate the distresses of life. The more we're able to tolerate the pains, the happiness, the distresses, all these things, then we'll be able to cross over this this great ocean of suffering, and rather easily. But if we're disturbed, we cannot make any progress. That's the point. If we are constantly disturbed and complaining, we cannot make progress. It's only when we tolerate these disturbances and don't complain and remain humble but determined to continue in the path of Krishna consciousness, then we can cross over all these troubles. So it's not possible to eliminate all desires, but one can change the quality of desires from material desires to spiritual desires. Change the quality of desire. Desire cannot be stopped, but you can change the quality of desires. So, therefore, this simple process, if one offers me with love and faith food, Krishna says, I'll accept it. So you offer him food, and you receive back his prasad, his mercy, then, and you chant Hare Krishna, then you'll become liberated from the whole process of birth and death. Go back to Godhead. Everything depends on the mentality we develop. So we should develop the mentality of Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarurapi Sestra, Mani Namadina, Kirtaniya Siddhara. Oh my Lord. That one should be more tolerant in the tree, more humble than the grass in the street, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. Then we can chant Hare Krishna without any interruption. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. All gracious Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah.
How do you read Bhagavad Gita? Like, in the sense, like sometimes you think, okay, like there are 700 pages, I'm going to try to read every day 5 pages or 10 pages. So you read it, like then the tendency comes up, okay, I read the 5 pages. So like, isn't it like every time you read a paragraph, we should be more concentrated?
Just come to the class. Just come to the class and listen. Okay? Just come to the class and listen and read one verse a day. One verse with one purport. That's what we're doing. We're reading one verse.
He now lives in Palomino.
Okay, that was a smart decision. Guess who helped him get that apartment? Did he help you get the?
He's still renting.
Oh, it's the